What's up, dudes? Welcome back to another episode of Rhomas Men's Team. Pretty simple. We are a group of guys helping each other make progress towards each other's goals. If you're new to the channel, awesome and welcome. If you want to help support the channel and join our pro team, head over to rhomasteam.com/pro, where you can contribute to us on a donation basis. We also give you access to exclusive content, mastermind groups, etc., etc. So anyway, hope you enjoy this episode, and we'll see you on the team.
We are live and recording, and I was telling Wes my babysitter canceled, so special guest, dude.
Special guest, Maya.
Until she falls apart, she's here. She's being pretty good, so. What up?
Adorable. What's going on, buddy?
Chilling, man. Just got a bunch of stuff done this week in terms of I had to go to New York, and so I didn't get everything done in terms of my side projects because it was kind of a little bit chaotic due to a 2-day cancellation from the babysitter that I was not anticipating, but we've been making the most of it, having a good time. So, yeah, man. It's so distracting. Hey, dude,
awesome.
what you been on? How's your week going?
Dude, the week it just coming up for air now. The classes, there's a ton I can improve. Definitely, but we broke 2 records. It was adorable. We broke a record on Tuesday, and then I believe we broke that record last night. So we'll see. I'm still waiting for the numbers to come in, but it's been cool. But I just, with that being said, there's so much I can improve on, like little things. It's like, oh, why did I just say that? It also gives me an appreciation for your craft because I feel like I do a somewhat okay job of like getting people to laugh just because I'm so robotic. So when I say anything that's not robotic, they're like, oh, hey guys, he has a heartbeat. So, but it gave me some perspective on your craft because it's like, oh man, I can't imagine how hard, I can't imagine how hard it would be to make someone laugh when they're expecting you to make them laugh.
Yeah, it is kind of a pain. But after a while, you get the hang of it. You start to know what you can say. But when that doesn't work, you're like, oh no.
Yeah, because I think it seems to me that there's a part of comedy, there's a category of comedy that makes people laugh just because it's unexpected.
Yes.
Right? Like when you say something that's unexpected, but when you go into a situation expecting the unexpected, it raises the bar that much higher.
Yeah, no, it's a pain. But I will say, and I know this from playing music, like comedy, at least you know how you're doing. Say hey. At least you know how you're doing though. Like a comedy, if you're getting laughs, you're chilling, you're having a good time. When you're giving a talk, there's no way to gauge if people are really. I mean, I guess you can look at their faces, but that would be tough to just talk. And be like, I hope this is interesting for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, dude, what you're doing right now is pretty wild. I mean, again, for people who don't know, you're holding seminars and basically teaching people about like personal finance and investment.
Yep.
And it's like, dude, organizing and just from doing like public speaking like that is a real serious skill. And it's like, dude, I think that's something people can work on. That's like, I mean, it's kind of scary at first, but dude, it puts you in a class of your own if you're able to do that at places.
Oh, dude, I mean, I could tell you, like I said, I've got a ton to work on. But if you think about it from like, let's say a business perspective, I'm going to see if I can put this up here. If you think about it from a business perspective, it's like Jordan Peterson says, master the skill of writing and reading and communicating. And man, it's unbelievable how much of the rewards are in that space.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what you're involved in. If you can learn to communicate effectively and persuasively and impactfully, it's amazing what you can accomplish.
Oh yeah, dude, it really is, man. Especially like, dude, reading now, it's like I think you're the one who kind of really put me onto this. Or you were doing it and I tried it, but just taking notes while you read, it's a whole different ball game, dude. For me, I'm able to understand stuff so much better, and it just makes it such a more fun experience.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's that thing. If you are learning to teach, it just puts you that, like, it's not even a close comparison. If you're reading a book and you're saying, okay, I've got to go and teach this to the guys later on, you're going to be going through that thing with the microscope versus just kind of passively consuming the information.
Yep, absolutely. Well, dude, what do you want to do this week? I am like definitely 50-50. I apologize. I have one eye.
Oh, no sweat, buddy. Why don't we bring somebody on, and then maybe if it makes sense for you, you can drop off and I can chat with that person or something if that works.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm going to put her down at some point anyway. But yeah, I'll be here listening and kind of making sure she doesn't fall and break her neck.
Cool. It'd be cool to. Gunther said he wants to come on. It's always a pleasure having him. Like,
hell yeah, it'd be awesome.
Let's do it.
But yeah, man, how did it go in terms of, like you said, you broke your records at your place of business? How'd everything else go in terms of the weekly goals?
Terrible. I missed every single day of the scorecard meeting. I think I've missed that for like the last 3 weeks, and Ray and Jake have been doing a phenomenal job of holding it down. So I need to get back on that. I have found that a lot of life is like in the category. Like the authors say, you don't write a book, you rewrite a book. And I feel the same way for balance. You don't live a balanced life. You have to constantly rebalance life. It seems that way to me. So I'm definitely needing to rebalance a lot of stuff. Like I've missed the gym, I've missed the scorecard meeting, I missed a whole bunch of stuff because like it was all hands on deck for the meetings this week.
Yeah, I think you can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of looking at it, because you get people who are like, well, I just don't live like that, and it is. It's really just a constant reorienting yourself. So yeah, I kind of like that a lot. I was thinking about that yesterday morning, or yesterday afternoon actually. Get out of there. Come here. Yesterday afternoon, I woke up from a nap and Jesus Christ. And I was thinking about that, like how. I don't know where, I guess I was just like kind of thinking about it earlier that day, and like, you know when you kind of wake up and like an idea kind of just like becomes clear?
Yeah.
But and this is for like the meditation series I'm working on for the psych stuff. I kind of had I guess this is just like for me personally, but I think it might apply for other people. You kind of have like those 3 levels that you kind of need to check yourself on. And like, of course, there's like the strictly physical, which is like, keeping your exercise and sunlight, food, and all that stuff. But I've met people before who do all that stuff, but they're just like, with the like mentally they're just kind of like, it's not really from a place of ease or like calm. So it's like you can get your physical stuff down, and then you have to kind of, and this kind of aligns with like the meditation stuff. It's like what's the mental sphere like? How is it chaotic? Is it calm? And then like you kind of get that in order, and then you can even do all that stuff. But the third sphere, I would call it the spiritual sphere, is like, do you know why you're doing that stuff? And is it like a compelling reason that makes you happy just to serve whatever that thing is, that ideal in your life? So, yeah. It's kind of basic, but it was kind of like an aha, like how they kind of all kind of are all nested in each other.
Yeah, no, I agree. And a couple of the guys, Kaizen and Ray are talking about the rebalancing kind of point. And I would say not only is rebalancing just kind of necessary just to keep order, but I also think there's a chaotic side to that kind of gives you that ability to define it as rebalancing that is necessary. So for instance, like the stuff that I just went through, it was a good rebalancing and saying like we need to leave some space or a certain amount of space in our lives for chaos, because that chaos can breed a lot of opportunity, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So it doesn't have to be that, there's an imbalance for negative reasons. There's an imbalance for positive reasons, but it gives you that ability to say, okay, I'm going to explore this unknown territory. I don't know what the hell's going to happen, but I'm going to come back with some sort of new version of myself or my skill sets. Dude, does that make sense?
I think you're 100% right, man. That way, you don't have to worry about like, all right, I'm going to put her down, actually. I'll be back. Come here. She's done. Oh, wait, no. I'll be back. Go
all right, cool. So yeah, I'd love to get your guys' thoughts, and I think Gunther might be coming on, but I think he said he's logging onto a computer. But yeah, that's just something that I've gone through recently, and I go through it many times a year, thinking to myself, okay, how can I disrupt the system in a positive way? Because life's getting a little too easy, and when life's getting a little too easy, there's just some there's just more growth. I don't know if you guys have ever felt the same way, but there's just an element to life that I don't know. What is that? It's that quote. If you live life hard, life is easy. If you live life hard, or if you live life hard, life is easy. If you live life easy, life is hard. And I completely agree with it. And I see it all the time out here in California. There's just too many examples of trust fund babies. There's too many examples of people who are working at their dad's businesses, who don't really like it, but their dad gives them a fat paycheck with a sweet company car, and they don't have to push it all. And I think that those guys are the ones actually that are in, I would say, one of the worst types of scenarios, because almost no matter how hard they work, they're still stuck in daddy's shadow, and that's a very hard barrier to entry to start to get into your own landscape as a man. So I actually feel bad for those types of guys. Let me read the comment from, let's see, just start driving Lyft. Chalupa said, I just started driving Lyft and the adjustment is tough. Chalupa, why'd you start driving Lyft? Is it to make some extra cash, I assume? If so, man, that's completely admirable. The amount of people who, especially men, who complain to me that they're not making enough money, but then are not doing the stuff that easily could do now. Chalupa said, turning my car into an asset. Absolutely. It's amazing to me how many people I talk to, like, oh man, I just don't make so much. I don't make much money. And then they're watching TV for fucking 4 hours a night. It's like, the fuck are you doing? And for anybody who's interested, you can do ride share stuff. So you can be a driver for Uber, Lyft, etc. But I don't know about in your cities, but in our cities out here, we have something called TaskRabbit, which is you can sign up to do a whole bunch. It's like the Uber for infinite tasks. So you can go and sign up to, take people's groceries to and from their house. You can sign up to be kind of like a local handyman. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do on TaskRabbit, and you actually just have to like go through their system and sign up. It's pretty interesting. And then Ray was saying something. I'm not going to pay attention to that last comment. Let's see. And Gunther, I'm sorry. I don't think I can bring you on. I'm waiting for Matt to come back to bring you on. Let's see. Yeah, Kaizen, you're exactly correct. Tony Robbins said you're either growing or you're dying. I really like Tony Robbins, one of his quotes where he says, progress is happiness. In fact, that's one of the things that we talked about last night in the finance class, and I see it all the time, which is I call it purpose-driven investing. You have to have a purpose towards everything you do, especially your money, because one of the worst things you could do is win the money game and then get to the end of that road and still be unfulfilled because you lacked a purpose. I mean, for instance, my mentor on Wall Street, he retired at the age of 50. He's worth millions upon millions of dollars. And I could tell you that he's miserable. Retiring at 50 and then looking at the rest of your life saying, well, what am I going to do now? But never developing that muscle, which is constantly redefining your sense of purpose. If you even bring that discussion up to him, he looks at you like you have three heads and that you're like some hippy dippy weirdo guy. But I can tell you that is a very miserable spot. He spends his life now sort of in this perpetual, almost like purgatory of playing golf that he doesn't even like, and then going out to restaurants that he's just sick of because he's been to all the most fancy restaurants in the world, and there's no sense of purpose. He has a terrible home life, terrible family life, terrible relationship with his wife, terrible relationship with his kid, and it's an awful position. You can just imagine the psychology of that. I have all of the resources in the world, at least that's what he would think, but yet I'm not happy. At that point, you reach a level of helplessness because you think that you have everything, but at the same time you have nothing. And yeah, Kaizen, the journey is the destination. Absolutely. Enjoying the journey, the path of progress, and really figuring out your niche to serve value in the world, I think is one of the biggest secrets. Talked about that last night to the group of investors because these people have boatloads of money. And you can tell when I bring up the idea of purpose, which I was originally a little scared to do. Matt, I was just telling them what I was talking about to the investors last night, how a lot of the stuff that we talk about here in the men's group is the stuff that the investors out there in the world need to hear, even if they're worth millions of dollars. So I now talk about in my presentations, purpose-driven investing, and saying that is the prerequisite towards building your portfolio. Like, what is your actual purpose for your family and yourself? Why do you do it, and who do you want to do it for? And we spend a lot of time on that discussion. And it's crazy. Like, you see it just resonate with all of these multimillionaires. You're like, yeah, like, I need to do that. Why have I not done that? So it's very interesting how this stuff is playing out.
That is interesting, man. Especially like within that kind of within like the space of investing, everyone would think it's just people like like I'm just trying to increase dollars, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah, tell me the numbers. Yeah,
there's a human element to all of this, and yeah, when you can tap into that, and obviously this, you were talking about it last week. It's, I would say, way more powerful of a motivator than like moving decimal points and stuff. Again, I'll at any point people can add zeros to my bank account, move decimal points around. I'm all about that as well. But it's like when you really can pull on those kind of strings, it's like, and it's not like it's like a trick. It's like a real thing. Like, why are you doing this? What are you trying to do? What's the point of this? Because people can go quietly off track within the domain of meaning, and like nobody around you notices, but it really eats you alive.
Oh,
when
absolutely.
you're at a job, it stops making sense. You can show up every day, and the years kind of pass, and that's like a really bad pain people have. It's kind of like they don't really talk about it.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, I was just telling the guys, and you know this guy, one of my mentors, multi-millionaire many times over, and is completely miserable. Retired, done all of the things, but never did it with intention, never did it with purpose, never did it with others in mind. It was always about how can he make more money? How can he make more money? How can he? It was never like when I literally had the discussion, I was like, hey man, how about you consider, creating value for others? His response was, what the fuck are you talking about? Literally. That was verbatim. And you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Yes.
He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, all right, I guess the conversation's over.
It wasn't part of the narrative, man. Yeah, it wasn't part of the narrative back then. So it's like, yeah, dude. Yeah, and again, that what you were saying too, I think is one of the best things for people to keep in mind, because especially when you come from not having any sort of regimen, any sort of structure, and then like this happened to me. I got a little structure, I got a routine, I'm all happy, and then I became kind of rigid around it, where I'm like, no, this is like and like what you're saying, it's like you constantly just like have it there figured out, kind of let it get disrupted, especially like you were saying, for good things, not just for like bullshit. And then you just it's a constant rebalance, and like, dude, I totally agree, because I was gone like Wednesday last week. I was in Boston for most of the week. I had to go to New York this week, and it just throws my schedule off. But it's one of those things where I really enjoy, just like you were saying, like it puts my mind at ease. Like, yeah, it's okay to like disrupt it. Just you got just get it back, and when your stuff, when the water kind of smooths out after you're done, like you're kind of in bursts of activity.
Yep. And you can also figure out how to have mobile habits.
Sure.
Which I think is pretty profound. But I'm not like all of my fucking habits went out the window this last week. I mean, it was. And for good reasons, so I'm happy about it. But I also think Gunther is waiting for us to bring him on. I think he's on
what the hell?
Computer.
Where's he at? Gunther, get over here, brother. There he is. Yeah, I'm excited. Gunther's been killing it in the gym, dude.
Dude, it's scary, actually.
It is scary. Oh, my God.
There you go.
What up, bro?
What's up, brother?
What's going on?
You working from home today?
Yeah, we had a pretty big project deadline this week, so I was putting in some extra hours, so Fridays. Who's sailing?
Gunther, if you don't mind me asking, what do you? I'm just not familiar. What do you do for work?
I'm a water wastewater design engineer, so we do like pump stations, water mains, like critical life infrastructure type stuff. No big deal.
Oh.
God, they're fucking jacked right now, dude.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
The voice has dropped a couple octaves, dude. Yeah, dude, you've been fucking pumping them.
Yeah, today I think I need a structured off day. I've been thinking about, I did some research into like getting overworked or like overtraining.
Yep.
Kind of, I think I'm starting to get into that realm with the, 6 days a week gym stuff.
Right.
Starting to get counterproductive a little bit. So today I slept in till 11. It was awesome.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, no, dude, I can totally relate. I had the perspective before when I trained for my first competition. I was reading about some of the stuff that you're reading about, seems like, over training. And honestly, in my head, I was like, oh, those guys are sissies, blah, blah, blah. And then, dude, I felt it, and it was, like, very real. Like, every time I went into the gym after I kind of reached that ceiling, the sessions were awful. And then, when I took a few days off, really concentrated on my sleep, took ice baths, came back, was like, oh, okay, this is what it's like, especially if you're not on any sort of gear, and for the non-cool lifters in here, gears, like steroids, etc. If you're not on any of those performance enhancers, like extreme performance enhancers, your body will break down. I mean, you need to give it time to recycle and replenish.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've gotten that before where, like, if I start working out, like, intensely too much without rest, it actually fucks my sleep up. Like, I won't be able to fall asleep. I feel, like, weirdly anxious, and it's always if I'm working, like, 7 days a week. But, yeah, dude, the rest is a big one.
Yeah, I ran that the other day. I was pushed back. I got stuck late at work, and I took my pre-workout at, like, 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. So then, like, midnight rolls around, you're still, like, all jacked up a little bit, but yeah.
Dude, Matt had the same experience. You should, Matt, if you could give him a little insight on the pre-workout you took during our college days.
Yeah,
you tried it one time.
Dude, I'm highly sensitive to stimulants. Like coffee, even if I had coffee right now, it's 12 something or 11:30. I'll be up till 2 in the morning easily. I took pre-workout once. Well, first of all, I took NO Explode. Thought my arms were going to fucking, like, literally, I, like, did one bicep curl and was like, and then just, like, I'm out of here. I think pre-workout, I don't think I even made it.
He literally left the gym. Like,
left.
He literally left.
Dude, it was too much of a pump. I didn't want that much of a pump, dude. I felt like my arms were going to explode. And then I took pre-workout once, Wes, and on the way down was just euphoric walking down, listening to music, and I got to the gym, and I felt like my heart was going to fucking hop out of my chest, and I was like, nope, going home again. I left the gym 3 times. The other time, I had accidentally, I had purposely, but I didn't think it'd be that strong. I sipped my little mushroom brew, and I went to the gym. Out. That was an absolute torture chamber. It was a torture chamber.
Oh, Jesus, dude.
So, yeah, definitely take it easy at the gym. And, again, the pre-workout for me is just not the thing.
Yeah, so Gunther, what's going on, man? What do you want to chat about, brother?
Not much, man. The work-life balance, trying to get that stuff figured out. I've been setting goals, like, not to go out for lunch at all, like, go run the Wegmans, like, actually buy, like, lunch meat and make a wrap and do all that. So I did that all this week. Besides today.
Is that for the money-saving aspect?
Yeah. I've been, like, the money stuff. I go in the Wegmans, $10 for a wrap. You buy a drink, some chips. Then I'll hit, like, a Scratchers on the way out. Like, before you know it, it's $20-$30 a day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Going in there, $100 a week. That stuff adds up quick. So,
can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah, go for it.
How do I say that? So my experience has been, and again, this is not official financial advice for any of the attorneys who ever see this recording in the future. My experience has been that will serve you that served me up until a certain point. Like, just live bare. Both Matt and I have lived incredibly bare bones. Just save every fucking nickel that you can, because the utility of that nickel can then compound and grow, etc. Eventually, I reached, and you for sure will reach, and you might already be there. You reach a ceiling in terms of your time. At a certain point, they say you trade your time for money, but then at a certain point, you have to trade your money for time, because that will increase your skill set. So do you think that you are closer there? So if I were to look at your schedule and say, okay, if I multiply all the money, let's just say just if you outsource your food, $20 a day, whatever that is, and then I add up all the time that you're now taking to make your sandwiches and all that stuff, if I added that up at the end of the year, would you be net positive on time, and would it be worth it? Or would you be net positive on money? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see what you're saying here. I mean, I think I still have, like, time within the day that could be, like, utilized better. So, like, taking time at night and actually like planning out what I want to do for the week for, food wise for lunch or for dinner. So I think the value is definitely still there in saving the money side of things, but as we keep killing it in Rhomas and turning me into more of a machine, then that might flip flop over the other side in the near future here. So
yeah, because dude, you have a great opportunity. I don't know much about your field, but let's just say engineering in general. I have another buddy who's an engineer, and he was just complaining because he wasn't increasing his pay scale. So we worked together for a little while to say, man, like, just go out, get your next certification or go back to school. Dude, he did that. Now he's making 2x what he was before. And that's one of the great gifts that we have here in America when you're at like a certain level of professional industry. Engineering's definitely one of them. So my question to you would be, is there a next certification or is there another round of schooling that you can go through to increase your earnings exponentially?
Yeah, I still have like 2 actually. I need to get my the engineering training, something that you're supposed to pass this test like after you graduate college. Did not do that. Took it a couple times, still struggling with it. So that's like the first step towards getting your professional engineering license. That's when you're making, over $100,000 easily on stamping stuff, doing big projects. So yeah, it's kind of a multi-step approach here. I got to get the ball going on that. It's just finding a couple hours a night to just crank away and study, differential equations and stuff no one wants to look at and hardcore math stuff. I don't know.
Dude, if you were my brother, man, what I would tell you is like, try an experiment. Screw saving money on your sandwiches right now. Try like 2 weeks of, instead of making sandwiches, go back to Wegmans. Don't buy the scratchers if possible. Go back to, or wherever that is. And then instead of making sandwiches, study for that half hour that you saved or whatever. Just to test it. Because, dude, if you were my brother, I would say, and it's funny that you're saying that is the certification that my buddy was talking about, right? Like the post-schooling certification that you just said. And yeah, now he's making way more money than he was before. Dude, my best guess, dude, is that if you did that, however long that took you, you'd be incredibly happy because then it increases your baseline income by a certain, like, if you don't mind me asking, what do you think you would percentage-wise increase your income? Let's say on the conservative end.
Well, if I would get that EIT? Yeah. Probably like 15-20%.
Right, 15-20%. And then your salary will then increase from there on after. Plus
exponentially, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Plus, and remember, just rough valuations, every $50,000 is equivalently $1 million asset. So just always think of it like that. So you have a potential to acquire another, let's say, close to another, $500,000 to $1 million asset, somewhere in that category. Plus, I assume it will give you massive mobility. Like once you get the next certification, it gives you another fucking ace up your sleeve to go back to your current company and say, hey, just a friendly little reminder, I just got this done. And that's also a hint to them, like, you're now more marketable in the marketplace.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah, that dude, I think that's also true. I think that's true. It also depends too. When I'm like getting in the realm of like, like I'm saving money, like I always need a reason, like a reason I really believe in concretely, like
purpose.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, what, is it just being like, because there's like, yeah, save money because it's good, or it's like exactly what are you going to do with it? Like for instance, like I really, after like we have the wedding all paid for, I really want to take like a couple of nice trips and stuff with my family this year. So like that's the reason. So when I'm looking at a thing, I can go, I'd rather do the trip. But if I don't have that in my head, it's just I'll do something like I'll be disciplined for like a month or two, and then I just slide off track. So the question would be like figuring out why you want to save the money. And like Wes was saying, that was kind of something I was thinking too. It's like, Jesus, are you frustrated? Sorry, she just screeched. Are you frustrated with the? Like, how do you like your job right now? Are you comfortable at it? Are you frustrated? Like, where are you standing there? And then,
Right. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. It's definitely, like this week we had this project deadline. So, Thursday or Wednesday night, I was up till 3 a.m, only got a couple hours of work. That stuff happens. But, I think in the end, like the work I do provides value to, these smaller municipal authorities and getting people safe drinking water and that type of stuff. So I get the value, then, but I do like the aspect of like, if you're saving money, make sure you're saving money for an end goal or purpose. I know I've been looking at like pretty sweet fat gold chains that I want,
Hell yes.
buy my nice first, like, $2,000 nice gold chain. But then it's like, my memory foam bed that I've been sleeping in is all, rotten to shit, and just you cave into it. So it's like some priorities there, a $1,700 bed or a $1,700 gold chain. Like, where's the value? Like, let's be real here, dude.
No, that's true. That is a struggle, and that's a big one. It's funny. I'm in the market for eventually like a really nice mattress. I've been on the cheaper end of mattresses my whole life, and I told my wife, I'm like, we're getting a nice mattress next time. We're both so fucking cheap, and our mattress is all right. But yeah, dude, it's like that's the number one thing, because it's like, just like sometimes you get in a job, like, because I have a thing with jobs where like I am assuming people are trying to like get out of it right away, because that's how my head always was. But it's like, yeah, if you like your job, it's like, yeah, saving some money is good. But I think like Wes was saying, it's like doing those little things you don't feel like doing. They really add up over time, especially a half hour a day. Even if you don't schedule a test, just a half hour a day of doing all the math that is on it. And then when you want to schedule the test, it's not like, what the fuck am I dealing with?
Right. Yeah. And Gunther, I don't know if you're still on the dating scene. But one thing, man, like, I don't know if some of my ancestors were slaves, but I just get furious at the idea of being any bit suppressed by another human being. Like, to me, it's like the worst, like, I cannot fucking stand it. Like, and like, it's almost a sense of like invisible slavery. So it's like, oh, I only make this much right now because that guy says so. And I fucking hate that. Like, I fucking despise it with every cell in my fucking body. So it's like, whatever that next step is for me to crack that next chain, that next handcuff that's on me, until I'm completely fucking free from somebody else telling me what I'm gonna fucking make, man, I would do whatever I could to get out of that. And when you bring that level of conviction to your first fucking Tinder date, they're like, oh, this guy's fucking different. Right? Like, he's not just here because he's fucking, Peter Pan. He actually wants to fucking, break the world and create his own sort of a thing.
Yeah. I did actually, on Tinder, I messaged this one girl. She was an engineer, and I was like, yo, we're falling madly in love. Let's open up our own consulting firm. What's it say? She's like, yeah. Yeah, that type of energy. Yeah, the dating stuff, I've been laying a little bit lower on it. I mean, the money, how much money that shit costs with dinner and drinks, and I'm the type of guy that like is standard, like, oh, I'll cover dinner, first date, and then it's like, what the hell are you doing? You didn't really like this chick, or it's not going to go anywhere, or whatever. So that type of stuff's been laying low, not going out as much.
Have you done Zoom dates?
I have not. I've heard that's kind of a thing, but no. I haven't tried that one out yet.
Yeah, I've never done it myself, but I've got some people who've tried it. Got some friends who've tried it. I actually really like the idea.
I guess it's because the concept, like, right, you need to be able to converse with someone like for a little bit and make sure that you got some vibes going or something, instead of just dumping into a $90 dinner.
Oh yeah. Dude, the amount of guys that I talk to and they say, oh yeah, like, I tell them, and not that I'm coaching or anything, but just as feedback, it's like, no, you are interviewing them. And equivalently and they say, yeah, no, totally. It's like, but then your actions are not congruent with that. And I'm not saying you're doing this, but I've got guy friends who will go and take them on like 5 different dates, and they're dropping $100 a pop. And it's like, that's not what you would do if you were interviewing somebody. It's not the equivalent, you both don't have the equivalent skin in the game. So I think if I were to ever enter back in the dating realm, I would 100% do Zoom dates for the first date or two. 100%.
That's not bad. That's not
And if
bad.
they don't fucking like it, it's like, okay, well, it's, you know.
It's like you got to pass my 3 Zoom dates before we can go to La Cantina.
Dude,
Yeah.
the last 6 girls I dated, by the second date I requested that they all take personality assessments. I said, no big deal if you don't want to take it. It's just not for me. Like, I don't want to waste time, and I know the exact type of personality that kind of grooves in with my personality. So if you're not willing to take it, no sweat. But it was kind of, you know, it was good to know you. That's the reason.
Yeah.
I say it in a polite way. But they were, and I can tell you, 0 of them rejected the personality assessment. Every single one of them took it.
Yeah, man. No, I agree. Definitely, you can definitely, and I suffer from that as well. I'd always be like going out to all these places, spending all this money, and then it's like, yeah, you're like, I don't even really like this person, and it sets up almost a dynamic where it's like, almost as if that's some rite of passage. Like, I have to show you all this stuff. It's like, dude, like, let's go for a walk, let's go to a park, and if they're like, no, I want to be blah blah blah, it's like, well, I don't want to deal with you then. If that's the if that's the energy, if that's the energy you're bringing to this, like, you know, get out of here.
Yeah, my neighbor's like a couple years younger than me, and that's like his go-to role. He's like, dude, we go to a pizza shop, grab a slice of pizza, hit the park. Like, if they don't want to talk or whatever, if they're not, you know, then you don't want to deal with them anyway. I'm like, damn. I wish I could have that, like, mindset where, like, I think that would be an acceptable type of date.
Good.
Yeah.
Dude, what are you getting jacked
is.
for? What are you getting jacked for if you can't take a chick to the park and not
Yeah, that's
money?
right.
What the fuck are you even doing?
Yeah, Kelly, you want to pop it off, go for a run quick?
Yeah, dude.
Do you guys hike out there? I never hiked when I was back in Philly, but like, I hike all the time now. Is that a thing now in Philly?
Yeah, stuff the Wissahickon, yeah.
Yeah, Wissahickon is nice. Up closer to me, like Poconos. I'm only half hour from Poconos, so
Okay.
there's a bunch going on.
Yeah, I feel like that's not a bad move. I got a bunch of friends who do like hiking dates, and it forces you, forces you to kind of to talk with the person under a little bit of duress, which I think is kind of interesting. And it's completely fucking free.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yes,
I've always, dude. No, I don't think anyone wants to do this, but I always like the idea of a supermarket date. It's like, let's go food shopping. Just see if we fight. Let's just see if we fight. Ray said, "Hell no." Let's just both get our groceries for the week and just see what's up.
And Gunther, before I forget, Kaizen had a great recommendation earlier. He said meal prep companies, if you're ever interested. And I've never done meal prep companies, but I would agree with him. I think those are pretty cost effective, and they're obviously healthy if you get the right ones.
Good point.
Yeah, I got to. I think the Sunday night thing, like getting the Blackstone out and just doing grilled chicken, I got to get into doing that a little bit. But
oh yeah, dude, I used to do that. It works very well. I used to buy 260 pounds of chicken at a clip, and then just spend 4, 5, 6 hours cooking all of it, weighing it out, and just like an assembly line. It sounds extreme, but then you get your meals. You've got all of your meals prepped, at least from a protein perspective, for the next 5 weeks.
Pretty sick.
yeah,
Well, I'm curious, Gunther. I'm curious of like, what do you feel like your life's missing, if anything, and what's kind of the move to kind of insert those things?
I don't. That's something I've been trying to really sit down and kind of think about. Like, what are we doing all this for? What are we searching for? I know, I've been kind of like seeing some girl a little bit. She's got a kid. It's like, what's going on here? What are we looking for? I think that I want to say I'm like ready to settle down, find that true partner in life type of deal. But then, part of me is like, hey, I've just been single 6 months. Like, let's feel this out a little bit. Let's have some fun. Let's, you always said you wanted to let loose and see what it's all about. But I think I'm still looking for that like meaningful, passionate thing, like on a hobby side of thing. I have like the working out stuff. But other than that, trying to develop some bigger friendships, more in-depth friendships with some guys valued around something other than just like drinking and trying to pick up chicks. Yeah, other than that, just trying to find the bay.
Nice.
Yeah.
One. Yeah. So.
Well, yeah, I honestly think you're right to like just take your time. I was the same way. I get out of a relationship and be like, "Ooh, I'm single," and so quickly be like, "I want a girlfriend again," and then get a girlfriend and be like, "Nah, I kind of rush that shit." So yeah, definitely take your time. There's oh man, I forget the name of the book. It's really good. It deals with like, I'll have to find it. I have it downstairs in my basement, but it talks extensively around kind of learning how to relish in that time spent alone. Because you don't, it kind of comes and goes in your life, but learning how to like just really sit in that and how invaluable that is, and how when people kind of rush from like a state of like being by themselves, when two people do it, it's like you're not really bringing a wholeness per se. You're just being like, fill this need, and they're like, you fill this need, and it's like, ugh. So yeah, man, I would definitely like really try to get into that, and that's like invaluable time that. Once it's gone, you're like, damn, I always, that's one thing I always kick myself for, to be honest. I'm always like, I could have really maxed out on my alone time and like really gotten into it, and rather than trying to evade it. So,
well,
yeah,
Matt, how do you, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
How do you hedge on trying to find someone just because you're lonely versus trying to find someone because you actually want to share your life and build value with? Like, Matt, how do you approach that?
How would I don't know. I can't speak historically.
Or how did you?
I failed miserably all the time I did that. Just knowing, like, when you're with a person, like, especially after you're like seeing each other for a little bit, if you're really making that deeper connection, or if you're just like, you're hot, I'm fucking you, kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Like when you're telling stories, especially when you're like, I'd catch myself doing this in the past. Like you find yourself telling your friends about the person, and it would just be like, oh, we fucked, or like, which obviously people do, but like really, and this comes to the dating process of like really being selective, dude, and like letting people you're just attracted to go, being like, been down this road before. We need to hold some sort of conversation or have some sort of like deeper dynamic. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah,
usually
in that situation. I've usually failed as well, but every once in a while, yeah. At a certain point in your life as a man, when you've made a lot of progress, and Gunther, you are definitely at this point. Yeah, it's like it's a weird dynamic for a man to be put in. It's like you have to start being the gatekeeper. We were never the gatekeepers before. But before a certain amount of time, like you're always chasing after, and the girls are always gatekeepers. But when you're a respectable man, actually after shit and ambitious and making progress, and Gunther, I know you said you're a little down on yourself, but that's because you're ambitious, right? You're always going to be striving for that next thing. You're past the level now where it's like, yeah, we all need to be more mindful about who we actually let into our lives, even if she comes in, high heels and blonde, blue eyes.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. The other night that this chick I've been seeing, we came over, she came by, was hanging out, cooked some dinner. And I was like, you know what, tonight I just like put her out there right away. It was still kind of early. I was like, I don't want to get physical tonight. Let's just hang out. Like we always it's always like centered around sex or having a couple of drinks and feeling good, Let's just hang out. Like I think it was Sunday, we were watching Dad Meet, like chilling. And then it was kind of like, when I said that, she was kind of like, oh, like, are you really, like, you can't be like serious about that, right? Like, or, oh, and I was like, no, like, this is how it's going down type of deal. And tried keeping my foot down and to my guns, but
obviously,
how'd that go?
Didn't work out. Yeah.
Still, I think that's, well, here's the thing you wanted to answer Wes's question. This is the dynamic that happens a lot. You go out and date, as a dude, you're like, I show up, I buy them stuff. And then as a woman, they're like, they have their own insecurities and like, man, I hope this guy doesn't ditch me. And sometimes they can take the shortcut that is kind of like, well, I'll just fuck this guy. And they're attracted. I'm not boiling it down to just like, Machiavellian like relationship principles, but it's like, I've noticed there's a thing with women. It's like, all right, you have sex, and then from their point of view, they're like, okay, cool. I kind of on some weird level own a part of this guy's life now. And I feel like that's something you can kind of, especially if people are up front with, or like try to avoid that as much as possible and get to know the person. But yeah, dude, I mean, like you were saying, you put your foot down, you start getting pawed on and all that stuff. It's hard to, stick to your guns. But I'd also be curious too, to be like, dude, I genuinely want to see if we can like hang out, because it's like,
oh yeah,
it's easy to be like, the time we spent was of high quality when, if I'm coming, I'm like, that was great. But like, what's it like when you're not?
Exactly. Yep.
So. Dude, I swear, this is gonna sound awful, but the more experience I get in relationships, the more I swear one of my biggest filters now is, could I build a business with this person? Not that I want to, but it's like, because that helps me think of like, okay, you can build a business with somebody who, number one, is going to take the building of the business seriously, but who has skill sets that you don't, because it helps fill in some of the gaps. But then there's also like when you're working late nights together where it's actually fun to talk to the person, right? Like there's a whole bunch of dynamics where if I literally put myself through that mental model, it's like, could I build a business with this person, or would I want to work with this person and we're working on the same project? Would I want to work on this project with them for until I die, right? It makes me think of dating in a different way, not just like, oh, is she hot? Or, oh, can we go out to dinner every once in a while and take a few drinks and have a good time? Like, it's different, man. I think John Gottman got me attracted to the idea of you're building a third entity, which that's what a business is. It's just a separate entity. And how do you bring in those strengths and weaknesses to build that thing? Because, dude, honestly, this is going to sound terrible, but I've dated girls in the past where it's like, what skills do you have? And it's my fault, not theirs. But like, I'll date them for a few months and it's like, oh, she's got no skills. Can't communicate, right? Like, can't keep a project on task, can't manage her money, right? Like all of those things. And it's like, what? And that's my fault. That's not their fault. It's my fault. And guys like me, our fault for like even entertaining the idea of dating somebody who the only thing they bring to the table is their pretty face.
Yeah, I mean, you can translate all that stuff to a family too. It's like,
oh, absolutely.
It's a big one of just being like, what kind of qualities you have in terms of that, and like, especially like, and this is a good point too with like, like I've dated women who like you talk to them and they're like, I hate kids, and I'm like, I'll still fuck you. And that's such a bad idea. Because like, why would you fuck a lady who hates kids? It's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, if you want kids. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, just it's like, so again, and it all depends. Like, all this stuff is person dependent. If someone say, hey, that sounds good to me, I don't want them, that's fine. But yeah, man, I mean, like Wes said, it's a bit of a mind fuck when you start to realize as you get older as a dude, like when you keep yourself together and and honestly, as a dude, the bar's not that high. So if anyone's like, fuck, it's like, trust me, if you just like don't completely give yourself over to vices and mindless entertainment 100%, you're on the fucking, you're poking out through the water on the top of the iceberg. But
oh, dude, I swear the only thing you really need, but it's got to be authentic, is ambition. I swear that's the only thing you need. Yeah. Right? Where you can communicate that ambition, be like, no, I'm actually going to do this. With or without you, I'm going up. And if you can, so it doesn't matter if you're overweight, doesn't matter if you don't have money, doesn't matter what your car, none of that. It's like, no, here's where I'm starting. I know I'm here, but I'm going that fucking direction. Right? And boom, all of a sudden, like you've got a narrative that is different than 99% of guys out there. Not that, Matt or I are teaching you anything, all of this stuff, but for other guys listening, so that they know as well.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I think you're just kind of, moving through like single life and figuring stuff out. So yeah, I agree with Wes. There's nothing like of like dire urgency. It's just a matter of like, again, for me, it's always like the only thing I kick myself for is like not being more structured in terms of like my values and all of that stuff before. Because if I had like navigated singlehood, I did all that like while I was in a relationship, which was great to do then too. But it's like being able to do that while you're single, you have a lot more freedom to do it, and you can really kind of arrange your life easier.
Yeah, and Gunther, do you mind if I throw something out about one of the other things you said about like lifting and everything?
Yeah, hit me.
One thing that I noticed for myself, and I love working out. I kind of always, for the longest time that I can remember, I always have loved working out. One of the slight hiccups with bodybuilding and doing all that stuff is that it's a highly individual thing. Unless you're going to the gym with buddies and all that stuff, which I love too. Like that, I think that's essential too. Like have a workout buddy, which I believe that you do.
Yeah.
But I wonder if there's a space where it's like, if you were my brother, I'd say, are you contributing to others? Like, and if you had to grade yourself on a scale of 0 to 10 in that category, like value contribution to others, where do you feel you land? And maybe it's a 10. So I'm not asking you the leading question, but I'm curious.
I think I'm probably in the 6 or 7-ish range. Like my workout buddy's been out of the gym all week this week, so I kind of took it there's some guys you bullshit and chat with at the gym. Went up there, hey, you want to do one of these workouts? Show you some things that I get to do. And we did that yesterday, and the guy was like, oh, that was pretty cool. I learned a bunch of new exercises. I got, good workout in. You were pushing me through it. So I think like there's like little things like that where I can provide value to other people, and it kind of, obviously it makes me feel like I'm accomplishing something greater than just working out to look like a stud, like helping other people learn new things or provide some motivation and stuff like that. But
100%, man.
Yeah, dude.
And you've got the gift. Like, I don't know if you know this stat, but 80% of Fortune 500, 80% of Fortune 500 CEOs are engineers. There's a reason. You've been given the gift of being able to think analytically, so it allows you to go through to a level of depth that most people are not interested in. Usually that means you'll be an outstanding teacher and an outstanding leader because of your analytical ability. So I think that's a gift, in my opinion, that you have to bring to the world. That's, in my vote, is like, it's your obligation. Find what your passion is and then go out and teach people about that, because you go to a level of depth and clarity that very few are willing to go to, just naturally.
I like it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, dude, yeah.
All right, dude.
Gunther, what do you think about all this for your final words?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of wading my way through the life of Gunther, through dating, getting jacked, kind of going around here and there. I think it's important to kind of not get lost in where I'm floating around or going left and right, but kind of remain focused on why I'm doing it, what type of value it's providing to others, and really ultimately what type of meaningful goal am I trying to get out of it. So.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah. I think to add to that, it's like why and who. Like those, I try to think about it constantly. Why are you doing this? Who are you doing it for? And really getting grounded in that.
Yeah, especially I read something the other day I really, really liked talking about, especially when you're trying to figure out what exactly should I be doing. It's kind of hard. And the way they did it, it was kind of like similar to that toward and away move, or like they call it again. There was like Preya and Shreya from like all the ancient Indian stuff. But people were like, well, how do I know if I'm, let's just call it like, how do I know if I'm on the path of like toward the thing I should be doing? And it's like one of those things where it's like, well, if you want to go west, just make sure you're not going east, and you'll eventually figure out, so don't do the bad and dumb shit for the most part, and you'll naturally be moving in that other direction, and then it'll become more clear as time goes on. So, so I sometimes I would strain myself being like, what the fuck am I doing? It's like, well, I'm doing a ton of really dumb and bad shit. How about I just stop all of this and then I'll see where I'm at.
Yep.
So I kind of like 100%. That model. So like if you want to go east, just don't go west.
Oh yeah.
Be in that direction.
Keep on lifting massive amounts of weight like you are, and totally emasculating me every time I look at your fucking video.
I feel like such a bitch, dude.
I think Raj beat me in the dip challenge because I had a little. I had to push like the box back a little bit. I don't know if I missed like a rep in there or something. So I think 2 of my reps might have been disqualified, not counted. So
damn,
might have to get back out there. Show them up.
Sky dog, dude. Yeah, true. I'm gonna get back in there. What'd you guys do? Did you guys do with weights or did you just do total?
Yeah, it's one plate rep out, max rep thing.
What'd you get?
Yeah,
I think like 27, 28-ish.
What the fuck?
In there.
And then he beat you.
Yeah.
How much did he get?
I think 30 he pushed out, or 29.
Jesus Christ.
That's brutal. You guys are beasts.
That's pretty good.
Those Wegmans ham sandwiches, dude.
Hell yeah. I just got a new push-up machine too. I was thinking of you, McCusker. It's like it was like $120. I have a horrible impulse decision buying stuff when it comes to workout clothes or
hell yeah.
kettlebells or I'm like, oh, it'll provide value to me eventually. It's only $100, but it's this big long piece of aluminum, and it's got handles on it like this, and there's elastic bands attached to the end.
Ooh.
So when you go down, you do a push-up and you have to squeeze your chest in at the end.
That sounds kind of nice, actually.
I'm gonna fucking buy it after we get off of this. So
yeah, I did 3 of them, and I was like, holy hell. Is this
really?
Work it into your morning routine. Yeah.
Shit. Well,
I'll be BC cups in no time, dude. Let's go.
That's all we want. That's all I want to do. Well, dude, I mean, I don't know if we even
have the link for that.
Yeah, I'll throw it in Discord.
Cool, thanks, brother.
Yeah, so dude, Jordan's nominating Kaizen, and the poll, I believe it's going to be. We'll do a quick one. I'm going Kaizen and Gunther, obviously. So let's see.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, dude,
tossed him up.
Guys and Raj has been killing it, man. I love the little competition back and forth in the Discord and getting it going. It's fucking so good.
Polls up. The poll's up, dude.
Let's see here.
Yeah, Kaizen's been flying and shit. Gunther's been absolutely slaying the gym and using sexual temperance on the women, which animal.
I don't know.
That's the best thing you can do for anyone. Just be like, yo, and you can almost, as a fuck around time, go in on a first date and be like, I'm not sleeping with you tonight. Like, don't even try it. And it's like, they'll laugh and be like, I'm fucking serious. I value my chastity. Dude, I'm telling you, it's a total mind loop.
Yeah, I mean, I've said that a couple times. Like, yeah, I just got to have some sort of connection. I'm not just gonna sleep with you, type of deal. And like that gets like it's respectable type of. Like, oh, me too. I do that too. Of course, it's like, yeah,
it's crazy, man. It's like, people are racking their brains for all this stuff. It's like, yeah, just tell them you're not going to fuck them. And they're like, what?
Agreed.
Well, dude, I think we have 2 outstanding votes right now. We're getting 6-3 Gunther to Kaizen. Let's see. True, right?
For the first year.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. All right, I guess the votes are in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gunther takes. Oh, Kaizen squeaks one more, but Gunther takes the lead.
Oh yeah.
That pull-up machine, bro. Congratulations, dude. And you keep crushing it, man. Literally every time I check on the Discord, there's always you fucking throwing around some weight. It always inspires me. I appreciate you motivating me, brother.
I'm about to get an elliptical in my basement. I'm about to give it hell right now.
Hell yeah.
I'm about to go do Pilates so hard.
Hell yeah, man. Dudes, like always, thanks for bearing with me. I finally put the little monster down, so...
Oh, nice.
I'm going to work for a couple hours.
Yeah, it was nice to finally get on here. I had a day off,
yeah, man.
so it was good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you coming on.
All right, dude.
All right.
Love you guys. Have a great fucking weekend. Later.
Great weekend.